Hey there, guys. It's Mia here. I am so excited. I am so excited to be here today. The topic tonight is the year of yes. It's saying yes to yourself. And if you've never had a year of just saying absolutely yes to yourself, you're going to love this live tonight. I'm Mia Redrick, business and life consultant. And I got started in my company over 21 years ago. And I simply made a decision to say yes. I said yes. I said yes to myself. I said, yes, I can take my background as a corporate trainer, my experience there, I could package it and go to work for myself. I decided that I would trust myself to do what I absolutely could see in my mind's eye. And maybe, just maybe, you've been thinking the exact same thing. As a direct result of growing my company, I've had the opportunity to coach thousands of women personally, and over the course of doing media, I've been signed to two Emmy nominated, nationally syndicated television shows. Multi millions of women have had the opportunity to learn from my advice, my step by step. Now, I should say this to you not for any other reason other than I want you to understand that every single thing that I share, everything that I coach my clients on, has just been based on saying yes to myself. And I hope that as a result of being here tonight or in the morning or hearing this replay, that it inspires you to start with yes. All right. I can tell you that for those of you who've been waiting to say yes to yourself because you've got the kids in school, you've got college tuition or something in between, or you're waiting on retirement, the time is now. Tomorrow is not promised. The time is now. As a direct result of me saying yes to myself, my kids have been the benefactors. My spouse has been the benefactors of my success and my personal growth. And I say the exact same thing to you. Tonight's live is all about saying yes to yourself. So if you need your shoulder shaked a tad, you're in the right place tonight. I'm so excited that you're here, and I'd love to know where you're from. So let me know where you're from, no matter what platform you're watching this on. I'd love to know where you're from. I wanted to do this live specifically for women because often we don't say yes to ourselves. A lot of times we say no. We say I'm going to do it later, and later never happens. And or sometimes we say we're going to do something for ourselves and we do a smaller version. Tonight is all about showing up for yourself and being tall and claiming what it is that you really want. I've got, let me see, 7 points here tonight, and I hope that as a result of you hearing this live today, that it'll really, really transform the way you show up in your own life. And I wanted to do this live today because when I think about it, I think, man, I started my company 21 years ago as a mom coach. And when I started the business, I didn't know that the idea of mom coaching was going to work. But I said yes to myself. I trusted myself enough to move in the direction of my vision. And it changed my entire life. And because I said yes to myself, my life today is unrecognizable. Now, I say this because I've seen so many other women who I've had the opportunity to coach who have either been working in conventional models where they were trading time for dollars, and they said yes to themselves. They decided to stand in their value, do what they feel fully wanted to do, and they've then started charging more, 5 grand, 10 grand, 15, $20,000 per client. Or in many cases, a lot of my clients who have never ever launched a business or used a soft skill in their life, like motherhood, became significant mom coaches and or media personalities or significant brands. I've got so many clients that have done amazing things because they simply started with a yes. And I know that this is going to support you today. So I'm going to get started. If you're ready, you know the drill. If you're ready, then I want you to write you're ready. And even if you're watching the replay, I want you to write you're ready. And tonight we're going to have a conversation around the year of yes. Now, here's the deal. I can tell you already that this conversation is not a conventional conversation. And it might just shake your shoulders a bit and it might step on your toes. But my only goal is to get you to show up 100% for yourself. And if I'm able to do that from this live, then I've done my job. All right. So there's 7 points to saying yes to yourself. And I wanted to start with this, that what are the benefits of saying yes to yourself? So many of us have said no to ourselves so much that we believe that all is possible is some limited version of what we want. And I've learned that I say yes and then I figure it out. All right. And so the first point tonight is saying yes to being all of who you were meant to be. So if you've been dealing with this idea of not being all of who you are meant to be, like you know what you want to do outside of your work or outside of your role as a wife or a mom if you're married or if you have kids, and yet you haven't decided to go for it. Saying yes to being all that you are meant to be. I started literally with motherhood. I was a mom 21 years ago. Oh, no, 25 years ago. And I had really great systems at taking great care of myself in my life. And I knew that I could show other women how to practice better me time. And so, which sounds kind of crazy if you think about it, but I decided like other women needed to know systematically how to care for themselves. And I had a great system for myself. And I said yes to that dream. And it changed my life. It allowed me to write best-selling books. It allowed me to do corporate partnerships with Fortune 100 and 500 brands. It allowed me to build my first significant coaching business. I said yes. So say yes to being all of who you are. And it doesn't matter if what you do right now that you don't see someone else doing it, perfect. All right, because you were meant to broker that idea. Just trust yourself enough to be yourself, to do all that you are meant and called to do, and not live a smaller version of a life that I call like living your life in quiet desperation. The idea that you know what you want to do, but you haven't decided to go for it, or you've allowed fear to be so dominant in your life that you're like, it might not work. Okay. So therefore you don't try. Try it. Just try that on. It'll change your whole life. Number two, saying yes to being authentic and unique. And this is so huge. Like imagine having a year where you decide that you're not going to be a smaller version of someone else. You're going to be authentic and unique and key to who you are. And I believe that that is one of the most significant parts of success. It is certainly the reason why I believe that I've created the success that I have and my clients have. We are not creative duplicators. We are unique. We are to be copied, but we are not copycats. And I want you to think about the level of insecurity that exists in others when you're studying and you're watching and you want to be a smaller version of someone else. Or when we hear, sometimes you hear the marketing messages about dominating. Then the whole idea of dominating anyone means that you believe that that person is ahead of where you are and you believe that they are the standard. Imagine if that did not exist for you in your mindset, which it doesn't exist in my mindset. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Makes perfect sense to why somebody want to copy me, because I'm authentic, I'm unique. And the way that I do what I do is based on what I'm God inspired to do. It is not based on looking and studying and being a smaller version of anyone else, because that's not why I was put here. And that is not why you were put here either. Say yes to being all of who you are, being unique, being authentic, taking your ideas and deciding like you're going to swim alone. Sometimes when you've got an idea that you don't see already, it's because you are the person meant to bring that idea forward. And a lot of us are very uncomfortable in that space, but play outside of the lines and become uncomfortable with become comfortable with the uncomfortable. Number three, right? Say yes to building the life that you dream about. And this to me is so key. And I'm going to just share some personal stories with you because I hope that as a result of me sharing this, you get this, right? Like to me, I remember 21 years ago when I started my company and I decided I wanted to work from the comfort of my home. Now, keep in mind that at that time, there are so many people everybody's working in an office. Everyone leaves their home to work. 21 years ago, I was working from home and I have worked from home for over 21 years. Now, it's radical. right? But I decided that I wanted to build the life that I dreamed about. I wanted to be the mom that could show up at the events that I wanted to show up at. And to do that, I needed to be able to work from home the way that I wanted to. I wanted to do work that I got to design what that work looked like and who I would get to play with. Now, this is a radical thought. When so many people are working, someone else is telling them what, when, and where. And I decided that I was going to define for myself what that was going to look like. And you can do that too. That's why I love coaching and consulting, because over and over again, over the years, I've had the opportunity to define for myself who I'm going to work with, how I'm going to work, when I'm going to work. Am I going to work in the States? Am I going to work abroad? Am I going to have clients come to me, to my office? Am I going to be in a different country and clients are going to come to me? Am I going to work with clients one to many? Am I going to host masterminds or whatever it is that I decided that I wanted to do? But it's always been on my own terms. I've said yes to building the business that I've dreamt about. And I've never felt bound by any model. And I love helping my clients unlock for themselves the fact that there's so much that's available to you on the work site that a lot of times we've never considered, because we never realized that, like, you can define this for yourself. There are models out here that are for you, that are based on leverage, that will allow you to live a life that's unrecognizable. Fast forward, my kids are 25, 21, and 18. I've got one that's a senior this year, and I've gone to everything that I have wanted to go to. We've missed, my husband and I have missed very few things. I mean, we built a business that allowed us to be able to show up as parents in a way that I think is fantastic. It was a goal that I created for myself 21 years ago. And I can tell you for sure, if you control your time, and if you control your life. And it's just been one of the greatest gifts to me. And it's something that I like to pay forward to my clients with models that really work. And a lot of times, women and women of color, they have not been introduced to leverage in any way at all. And as a result of that, we think that work means 40 hours, 60 hours, hustle and grind, and all of those things. Or we think it has to be, in order for us to work, there's got to be this degree of competition. And what if I told you that competition is absolutely irrelevant? If you're amazing at what you do and you build a business around what you do, that is absolutely amazing, because it's true. Number 4, say yes to models that only make sense to you. When I said yes to myself years ago, I remember my neighbors literally like thinking, like, you work from home? Like, really? Okay, like, okay, right. Like, what could she possibly be doing? I remember my dad actually coming to my home, and I was working as a coach, and he was like, "You working right now?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm working right now." It must be nice. Because sometimes when you do things differently than what anybody else has done, it defies the odds. People just don't have a visual picture of what it can look like to build a life that entertains freedom, right? Like, it's part of your model. And if you don't have people like that in your world, when you start talking to your folks about people, your friends, your family, your colleagues, about what you want to do, and they don't live that way, they've never seen anyone live that way, it's easy for them to punch holes in your dream. But you got to get yourself a mentor, coach that lives that way, so that you can understand this is possible for you. I've seen so many clients that I've worked with over the years get themselves free and to stay free. And it's a very, very powerful thing to be able to create shift in your life, to know what you have in your hands with your skills and your talents and your ability and your expertise, and to be able to create models that allow you for the very first time to get free. Number 5, I think we're on, say yes to relationships with reciprocity. This is like one of those things that, if we're talking about having a year of yes, that's what I'm talking about. You have to have a year of reciprocity. That means that you got to have a year where there are people who you sow into, who sow back into you. You gotta have a year of giving and receiving, right? And I think a lot of times people don't get to where they want to get to, because they are always the giver and they are never on the receiving end. And there's somebody out there that's going to say, "Amen, that's me." Okay. But one of the things that I think is so important for you as part of your year of yes is to get in a place where you are okay with receiving, and that you look for relationships that have reciprocity. I found for myself that that has allowed me to grow leaps and bounds to be in community with people who not only wanted me to sow into their dream, their goals, their vision, but also equally wanted to do exactly the same for me and with me. And it's one of the ways that you can accelerate the quickest, really, is when you have that. Now, it could also look like even in your business. And I'm going to break this down really quickly. All right, for those of you who have been in business for a period of time, let's say you've been in business and you create amazing results for your clients, and no one knows it because your clients don't tell the story. Well, that's not a relationship that's based on reciprocity. So imagine that you create amazing results for your clients and they love what you do for them, but you're the best kept secret because they don't tell others how amazing you are. And you guys know if this is a relationship that you have. And if so, you need to course correct. And I would tell you for sure that targeting the right clients and making sure you're working with people who have the ability and the capacity to give to others in that way. It could also look like sometimes people work with you because they want to glean what you do, because they want to be you, do you. They can't. However, it's a mindset. Work on having a year of yes, deciding that you're going to work with people who are the highest and the tallest, and who are really just the kind of people who are the most high integrity people, who will show up and do the work and who have the best heart for you. You deserve that. Okay, number 6, say yes to your well-being. Your well-being is everything, right? Your mindset, your your well-being is everything. And so, imagine that you are saying yes to everything in your world, but not your own well being. Or imagine that you're saying yes to everything in your world, and the people in your world don't care about your well being, meaning healthy communication, that you're well emotionally, that you're fully emotionally supported, or whatever that might look like. Those things are equally important in a year of yes. And I want you to think about where you are, where you're at, who has access to you, who you need to limit access to, what boundaries you need to set. It's very, very important. And a lot of times we don't think about this as it relates to our own self-care, but it's a significant part of growing. If you're not as creative as you need to be, likely creativity and environment almost always go hand in hand. Creativity and access almost always go hand in hand in terms of lack of creativity or lots of creativity. Look at your environment. Does it inspire you or does it not uninspire you, right? Think about the people in your world. Do they inspire you? Do they uninspire you, right? Think about it and really get clear on yourself around access and who has access to you. To me, that's what well-being is about. And a lot of times we don't think about it. Imagine if in your year of yes, you decided that you're going to say yes to more people that make you feel good, and you're going to say no to more people who don't. Okay, imagine in your year of yes, if you said yes, you get to have access to me, and yes, I'm certain that you can't not have access to me based on who you are and what you bring and what you need or whatever it is in your world, and how different your year can be as a result of that. It's really important. Okay, say yes to being fully expressed. That's number 8, I think. Number 8, saying yes to being fully expressed. And what I mean by that is, I think that sometimes when my clients call themselves giants, and I only work with giants, right? So people who are big and they're tall and their gifts and their magnificence, right? They're very, very talented and smart people. And a lot of times when you're very talented and smart, people want you to play small. They want you to shrink your shine. They say you're being braggadocious because you're being yourself. And you really aren't. You just get these great gifts and talents and you know the answer, and it's just a fact, right? So say yes to being fully expressed. Get yourself some playmates, folks, community that you can hang out with that are other giants who love being in the company of people who do things big ways, who love being with people who play outside of the lines. If you are truly a giant would never ask you in any way to shrink who you are so that they can feel great. That's not what a giant is. That's what an ant is. And it's true. And I want to break this down for those of you too on the client side. Like for those of you who've ever worked with people who, let's say you want them to go from here to here, right? For those of you who are coaches, you want your clients to go from here to here, and they just won't go from here. And, I've had clients over the years who said like, oh my God, like Mia, she just wants me to make more money. It's like, well, I mean, like people hire me to help you. You hire me because you want me to help you put together great systems so that you have sustainable models so that you can create profitability in your business and your company over and over again, right? That's what people typically hire me. But because of mindset, sometimes people can't go from here to here. And so because of it, they have to make it wrong or they have to whatever, right? I want you to think about your year of yes of being fully expressed. Who do you want to work with? Who do you want to play with? How do you want to use your skills? Who do you want to share your skills with? Right? Think about the companies, think about the individuals, and then just like play outside of those lines for yourself and know it's fully available to you. You don't have to believe that there's a small subset of people that are available to you. It's not true. There are tons of people out there who are waiting on you, just you right now. Is this making sense? If this is making sense, I want you to write this is making sense. And number 9, say yes and acknowledge that. I think I talked a little bit about this, but that duplication minimizes your gifts, right? So say yes to not duplicating anything or anyone. Your uniqueness is the thing that makes you great. And the thing that makes you scarce is the thing that makes you very valuable. And a lot of times people get this so mixed up. In this world, everybody wants likeness. They want to be like everybody else. But the truth of the matter is, say yes to being different, saying yes to being your own kind of brilliant, your own shade of brilliant. And I will tell you that it will make you so attractive. When I think about the number of people who reach out to us every day, mainly because I'm myself, right? Y'all know, I'm myself, okay? And I'm this woman who had these great ideas, who had enough confidence and had done enough self-work on herself to just step into it. And as a result of that, I've been able to build an amazing business for myself and be able to transfer forward what I know to other women who've done this and so much more for themselves. And it is not based on being a smaller version of anyone else. It's not based on duplicating. It's never been based on anything that's low vibration at all. There's no room for it because the work that I have inside of me to do, the gifts and talents that I have are so much bigger than that. And the same is true for you. And so I suggest to you that say yes to understanding that duplicity is not your superpower. Sure, you might look at something to see something, but all it does is it weakens your soul. It makes you think that what God is saying to you about you, what to do with the gifts He's given you, you stop using that internal GPS because you think that something external is greater than something internal, and it just isn't. Listen. I'm telling you guys, okay. And number 10, say yes to traveling. Like yes, yeah, yes, okay. And I say this because I love to travel. I've always traveled. Last year I decided, challenged myself, 100 and I think of 144 days I spent traveling. I wanted to do 45 days alone and the rest with my family, and I did exactly that. And travel is so good for you. And a lot of us, because we're married, we have kids, we don't make that room to take those solo trips. Now, I know some of you guys are going to tune off, you're going to turn me off right now, but I'm telling you that that is where you discover who you are. And there's something about, and I've always, I wrote a book on me time. Okay. So give me a break. All right. So I wrote my book on me time about 16 years ago. I've always dated myself. And I love to date myself. I love to travel alone. I love to travel alone in different countries. They're just things that happen for me when I'm alone that don't happen in the same way when I'm with my family. There's a level of insight. There's just a level. I get to do what I love. I get to hear my inner thoughts. I get to really explore and get to know and connect to myself. I have a client who recently um, went to Italy a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and she went a week with a family, and then she did a week or so by herself, and it was very, very powerful for her. And I remember the messages that she was saying, just powerfully choosing what it is that she wants. It's something that my clients do all the time. Say yes to traveling for yourself. You'll get to know yourself in incredible ways, and it will become one of your superpowers. You can do it. You can start small, 2 or 3 days, and then work your way up from that. But it's something that I enjoy doing. I love traveling alone. And say yes to profitability. And this is the last thing. This is number 11, I think. And yes to profitability just simply means, like, so many of us are used to accepting the small, minimizing our value. And because of it, the a little shiny object could come by. I was trying to see if I have it. I have an earring here. This little shiny object, right? And you're like, oh, it shines kind of a little bit. And you say yes to it when there's something so much grander for you. And I want you to understand that what you know has value. So say yes to it. Say yes to, like, being all of who you are, being properly compensated for that. And if you don't know how to do that, then, when I come on and when I offer my master training, make sure you sign up for the Giant Experience Master Training, because it is literally one of the things that I talk about. And I teach you how to take your background and your gifts and how to package it so that you can show up for yourself and fully value who you are and who you are meant to be. Say yes to profitability. It'll change your life. Okay. It'll change your choices. It'll change how you can show up for your family. It will change the impact that you can make. It'll change the charity that you can be a part of. And it'll allow you to be able to sustain the giving of your gift. And for those of you who are in conflict around standing in your value, I'm talking to you, okay? And I hope that this really supports you. That's what I have tonight. I hope that this has supported you in some amazing way. I'm Mia Redrick, business and life consultant. And tonight, I wanted to just do a simple live on just a year of yes. Shonda Rhimes wrote a great book on her year of yes, and her suggestions around it are very, very powerful. And I thought, you know what? I definitely have had significantly a year of yes, and it's made all the difference for me. And I really just try to step into that life of yes for myself. I say yes, and then I figure it out. Just to quickly recap for those of you who are joining me, and if you want to share an aha or takeaway, feel free right now, even if you're watching the replay. I talked about number 1, saying yes to being all of who you are. Number 2, saying yes to being authentic and unique and not a copycat of somebody else. Oh my God, like, please. Saying yes to building a life around your dream. Really, okay? Saying yes to models that make sense for you, living your best life and not being, like, doing what other people tell you to do. Just design it the way you want, okay? Live the way you want. And, it's one of the things that I try to model for my clients. It's like, I don't know what the latest thing is for anybody to do. I just know how I want to live. Okay. And based on that, that's what I'm structuring. I'm building what I'm doing based on that 100%. Saying yes to relationships with reciprocity. You deserve that. Okay. And it's really difficult to grow in any aspect of your life without relationships that give back and sow into you. Saying yes to your well-being is really important, and you want to be in community with people who care about your emotional wellness, your physical wellness, right? Your spiritual wellness, very important. Saying yes to being fully expressed, being that crazy, zany person you are with those out of the box ideas. Say yes to her, okay? And saying yes and acknowledging that duplication only is a lower vibration. Like, oh my God, I'm so over it. Like, if I hear another person use AI and they say unlock and unleash something, I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, really, people? Like, you're so much bigger than that. Like, your ability to communicate your ideas to the people that you're meant to create impact. Like, come on, okay? And not seeing that. It's like, but it's easy. Yeah. Oh, it is, but it's just not magnetic because it's not you. And you of what the people crave. Okay. Say yes to travel, like go where you want to go, do what you want to do, see what you want to see. It will change you, and do some of it alone. Okay. Do some of it alone and say yes to profitability, because profitability to me means sustainability. It means it allows us to do what we love to do over and over and over and over and over again. All right. Did you get value tonight, or did you get value? I'm so excited that I had the opportunity to be here and to share with you. And I come every Monday. Sometimes I come at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But today I spilled some water, so I had to come a little bit later. So that was that. Spilled water right before my live, and water was everywhere. So therefore, I came on a little bit later. I hope you got value tonight. I'm Mia Redrick, business and life consultant, and I look forward to supporting you. You can always check me out at miaredrick.com, or you can always book a strategy session. I'll post the link here if you need some support around how to package what you do at the highest level, and you want to have a conversation around how I can support you with my consulting. Click on the link that's here. That's on the page. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Have an amazing night. Talk to you soon. Good night.